Hello from Bali. This is a podcast Pigeon of Peace where we do discuss awesome skills troubleshooters. Watch, listen, and check the comments for the details. Let's talk about machine learning and let's start with the definition.
Maxim, I meet this term like 25 years ago, or maybe 35 years ago, when I was on the first course of Kyiv Polytechnical Institute. And I was asked by my prof to run a program which would randomly draw on the screen triangles, cycles, and some other figures. And then another part of the same program would calculate how many triangles we'll see. And I asked him, why we do this? And he told me, you should think twice. For example, you will put several triangles, and it could be that they also would form another triangles. For example, one triangle will cross-sect another triangle. You will have small triangle. And I was thinking, yes, it could be. And, you know, it takes me like, I don't know exactly, maybe 11 months to run the program, which would calculate how many triangles on the screen. So to put triangles on the screen, I managed like for several hours, like 2 or 3 hours. But to calculate how many after cross-section would be on the screen, it take me too long. Then I was asked, is it possible to make translation from Russian to English or from Ukrainian to German? And I was thinking, it's so easy. And then I was trying to translate name of the founder of Microsoft. His name was Bill Gates. But Bill, this is Bill like in restaurant. And Gates, it's like, I know how the construction where you trying to put the ball in football. And then it was a time when in mouse, it was a small ball. You remember this? Small ball, track ball. It was like a hard-boiled eggs was cleared from this, I don't know, white part. And I was trying to translate, and suddenly my program translate this trackball like, I don't know how to translate, maybe you'll help me, гениталии на гусеничном ходу.
Well, this is like a genitals on the tracks, something like that.
And the more I try to translate, the more mistake I would find. And I asked my prof, is this task is really hard or I am dumb? And he told me, you should understand that you trying to explain to the machine which you was learning like for 20 years. First, you learn letters. Then you learn, I don't know how to say, sloggy part of the words. Syllables. Then you learn like roots and endings and prefixes. And then you learn how to combine words. Yes, maybe you're a programmer, maybe even a good one, but you're trying to compress the time you have spent for 20 years for 20 hours and 200 hours. It won't work. We should spend almost the same time to explain to the machine the same you have learned about sun, about mushrooms, about relatives, about grief. And I was thinking, but who could do this? It's almost impossible. For example, if I am grown up, I would spend big part of my life for this. And then my prof told me, but you know, if we'll make this clever machine will help so many people to find new meds, to build very optimal roads, and maybe we'll fly to the Mars. And I was thinking, yes, okay, it's worth to spend time.
Well, it really reminds me one of the lectures where you were saying that, you know, like if you want to solve the problem with the artificial intelligence or the thing that is pretending to be an intelligence, you need to not only tell them about the problem, but you need to tell them about the world where this problem exists. Now, my question is, next one will be not really about the machine learning itself, but maybe about the trends as well, because it seems like machine learning as if perceived was kind of a trend quite recently. I would say like maybe last 8 to 10 years. But as you rightfully said, like it was a thing many years before. So what exactly happened? Maybe it's like, you know, human perception, or maybe it was not that trendy, or maybe it was not that fancy, so that, you know, scientists, programmers, mathematicians did not really, you know, like pick this topic up, or it was not that, you know, like such in a big demand.
There is a phrase, its name like artificial artilect winter. Artilect winter is a period of time when no one's want to talk about artificial intelligence because was fallen and it is not anymore on the, I don't know how to say, на пьедестале.
Not on the pedestal or below the radar.
Okay, below the radar. And it was like 7 times when it was trying to be on the wave, on the top of the wave. Why? First time it was when computers were connected. When you have separated computer, you could feed your machine with, I don't know, like 100 photographs, and you will show frogs or maybe squirrels, and you will say, come on, let's look, where is the frogs, where is squirrels? Then you will connect several computers in network. And in this case, you could feed much more photographs, and not just with 2 animals, but also with snakes, with birds, and with people. Then it was a time when we have a very cheap and fast memory. Then we have clouds. Then we have graphics. And last trend in artificial intelligence and machine learning is about video cards. Video cards, especially NVIDIA, they have a very powerful graphical processors, and they could be used for some computation and some good-looking picture creation. So this was like a chance, maybe with those processors, we could collect and distinct much more types of information, but it fails. And the reason was, if you have a lot of pictures, for example, with, I don't know, snakes and mushrooms, you will show on this picture we have snake, on this picture we have mushroom. But in real life, it could be that we'll have several snakes or several mushrooms, or snake on the mushroom or mushroom on the snake. For example, I don't remember if I had shown it up, but on the lecture, I was intent to show one picture which was made by artificial intelligence. I was asking machine to show me cobra with ancestors, с детенышами.
With the kids.
With the kids. And you know, what's funny? Usually cobra laid eggs, but not so many, like 20. But suddenly I get a huge white cobra, but usually they are not white. And he or she was surrounded by almost 100 of the worms. They are not was looking like a cobras. It was like worms with different colors, and they have on each side. So not head and ending, but each side was with heads. And I was looking and I was thinking, what was in mind of this machine? Why it makes this? And maybe you remember on the lectures also, I try to draw a picture with some prompt, something like worms in the part of concrete in granite.
In the granite or
in a
marble.
granite. Yes, but all of these worms were on the top of the stone, but not inside. And also it was a problem with fingers of the boy who was holding it. So if you're trying to solve the problem with machine learning, you will solve just main part of this problem, but not some surrounded. For example, if you will ask machine to build prepare for you some kind of soup, you will have it on the table, but all your flat could be destroyed.
And when we look into like describing what we need, what exactly how the outcome would look like, when we're trying to program the outcome and define like what exactly we want it to learn, like what is the model, like what kind of rules we should stick to. Again, like I do understand it might be like a massive set of rules, like thousands of them, but maybe what could be descriptive enough, what should be the criteria so that we could at least think about accepting the result.
First, you should use the same author which write the program or gives information to the machine chance to be as a filter. For example, I have artificial intelligence which was built by me. It was some time ago, and it's not a modern one. But anyway, I know which kind of task it could fulfill in a good way. And some of tasks couldn't be solved by this machine because of some limitation. So you couldn't give any information to any artificial intelligence. And another one, you were very dependent from the data knowledge. If you, for example, will feed to the machine some people from Russia, and you will tell, let's define where is woman, where is man, where is a kid. And after you will try with the same machine to find, for example, people from Namibia or maybe some Cote d'Ivoire, it wouldn't work. Sometimes people from Cote d'Ivoire could be recognized as a mushroom because mushroom sometimes, like, I don't know, say, подберезовик, have the same color like face of the Namibian people. Подберезовик?
Well, this world need to Google for sure.
I also don't know how to translate. Or for example, another one. Maybe you will try to tell the machine how to scribe letters in different way, in Russian or maybe Israelis or German. And sometimes you will feed just innocent photography where nothing was written by the man, but machine will look at the cloud on your photography, or maybe on the grass on your photography, or maybe even on the body of the dog, and it will found like words. There is even a joke which suitable for specialists for machine learning. I feed up to my computer alphabet, Morse alphabet. And then after it was rain, my computer described what God is trying to say me.
Well, this is kind of a deep, like, because some people may find a meaning like in this thing. And again, like, my next question will be, okay, we're speaking about the machine learning, and you actually gave a couple of good examples which could lead to maybe, you know, like just like a newly invented term, human unlearning, because sometimes, you know, like we could really assess the results because we do know how exactly or what might be the criteria that we select. But again, like, let's say in some of the cases we might not be familiar with the acceptance criteria of the solution, so that we could, you know, like blindly trust what example the machine is trying to tell us. Like, for example, I discovered that there are different types of the coffees in Indonesia. So it's called like in a different and funny way. Like one of them is called kopi susu. So if I would never like been living in Singapore and would never hear something different, I would think this is something that's really nonsense. So how to deal with this, like accepting of the results? Like how do we should have a filter to check them? Should there be another maybe system that would check the first system to make sure that the results are actually in the range of the acceptance?
It's a very hard question to answer, and there is several POV, point of view. One of them is to use another artificial intelligence. And for example, you will feed, for example, you have 1 million photos with frogs and mushrooms. And for example, you will feed one randomly taken part like 800,000 to one machine. And for example, 600,000 to another machine, and they will compete. And then you will choose which one is better. For example, when I was managing to work with machine learning, I was trying to solve several tasks. Every student and every doctorand or aspirant, is it okay to say aspirant?
Aspirant is good.
Aspirant should, when you are going to artificial intelligence, you should solve this task. And it was a combat task. So you should build two different artificial intelligence, use different methods of machine learning, and then put them to the combat. And they should fight to lose some resources. And if you have winner, you should write another one, and you should create several to make like championship. And then you will understand how different methods of machine learning are processed by your head, by your program, and by your execution. But you know what's funny? After several attempts, I found that all these artificial intelligence machines, they do not want fight. So first of them were fighting, and they were lost some resources. Suddenly, they decided to make, I don't know how to say, an arrangement, and they have like a corridor, and no one will step in it. Okay, I will add third machine, first machine. Suddenly they divide all the space, so they try to optimize their behavior, but they know about these fences and they do not want to cross them. But with people, it will not work. Why? We are so smart, but we fight with words, fight with arms, fight with weapons. But machines, which created by us in computer, they do not want to fight. And this just ununderstandable. For example, your country A, I am country B, and maybe sometimes our diplomats will fail and will put to the line cannons and will fire in each other. But the same simulation in computer will not fight. Computer will find some kind of compromise.
Compromise.
Some sort of compromise, but it will avoid losing of resources from all sides. You know, to be grown-up soldier, you need to feed person like for 20 years. And if you have fight, you could lose like 10 soldiers, 100 or 1,000 soldiers. And people use this like an easy way. Okay, let's lose some people. It's like a Russian saying, when we cut the woods, some small part of this wood which go when you cut it by the axe will flow away. Okay, it's not worse. Yes, but for whom? For those people who had no wood to fire and to cook some soup. So we try to learn how to deal with computer, but computer also could learn us how to live.
Well, I believe it might be this thing that, like when we write a bugless code, we do not really recognize that us as a human, we also may have some sort of like a bugs, so that we need another engineer who actually could help with this. And my last question will be how knowing about machine learning would help to make this world a better place.
When we do a lot of routines, for example, we check contracts and maybe we make like customer care. In those cases, 90% of our job is quite similar. It could be divided for several corridors or several trees of the same body, but it is easy to fulfill. For example, a lot of people will call to the bank with same speech, ATM machine, swallow my card, or can you please tell me what is balance? Or maybe I forgot my PIN code. So it could be answered by a machine. By the way, my wife, she likes to order airline tickets of Aeroflot by the talking with machines. And when I'm trying to make this, I wait music very long time. But my wife press some button, for example, 1 or 2, and she goes to robot and they will communicate. I do not like to speak with robots. So I am a computer guy, I am geek, but I prefer to speak with people. My wife, she's communitarian, but anyway, she like to work with robot. But to make robot which could recognize your speech and understand your emotion, it's really hard job. Not many companies on the planet manage to do this well. So if we have very usual and very common and very often part of the job which was fulfilled by people, we could transfer it to the robot, and machine learning by human support is quite effective.
We've just reviewed the skill of machine learning and how it will be helpful for you. Stay in peace.